Some people say now, oh, the Atletico Madrid's a game in the way. Yeah, you need that game because if it doesn't go well in the league and you drop one game or a point, you're going to be relying on the Champions League. And if they won one of them two trophies, it would be phenomenal.
Does it help playing before again? Obviously, I know that they would have played twice, you know, two more games than City by the time City play.
I've been saying for 2-3 months, it all comes down to who plays first with the games. I think it's so different. You know, when you've got to win a football match just to stay there, it's grinding, it takes its toll. And I think if they can go 6 points clear, they've got to do it all over again, Man City. Got to do it all over again. And, you know, you can't keep on going to the well. They have been good, but I thought they were a little bit nervy against Burnley. I thought they were a bit nervy. I thought when they scored early doors, I thought, oh, if they win this 4 or 5 leagues over, because, you know, even if it goes down to goals scored or goals difference, you know, but they didn't. They won 1-0, and I think if Arsenal win this game, beat West Ham, then I think you go with the old run and get the ball out of the net for the last 2 games, because I think then if Man City win them 2 games, and then I'm a bit worried. But
we're getting your predictions here, game by game.
Yeah,
so
go on, sorry.
Arsenal win 2-0.
6 points.
Then the Monday night football is Manchester City at Everton. How do you see that going? Because that's not an easy game, and at Hill Dickinson as well. Yeah,
100%. I thought they were unlucky against Liverpool, bang unlucky, and then a last-minute goal again last week against West Ham. I've gone for a draw here.
Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
I like Everton. I think Everton are a good team. I think they've got good players. They've got players that can hurt you, you know, and they've got the pace up front as well. I mean, they're not prolific, the two up front, whoever plays, but they have pace. They have pace, and they're playing quite a high line at the moment, Man City. Then, you know, I like the players who sit behind there, and then you've got the midfield playing Gardner, who I think, you know, when you talk about player of the seasons, I mean, he wouldn't be far off, in my opinion, for what he's done. So, you know, I think this is a difficult game. I'm going to go 1-1 if they did win this game, Man City, and then you start panicking.
OK, but you're going 1-1.
I'm going to go 1-1.
And then City in action again before Arsenal play at home this time to Brentford. Brentford, who, well, we were speaking about just a minute ago, have had a good season.
They've had a great season, but it all depends how they do at Man United. You know, I think it's the Fulham situation. If Fulham would have lost to a Villa, the hunger goes out. If they get beat tonight, then all of a sudden, I don't know how hungry they'll be for this game. But for me, I'm just going to go Man City. I don't think it'll be a 3 and a 4. I don't think there'll be much goal difference between both. Even if they both won, then if they beat Fulham, Arsenal, and they win their next 2 games, I don't think the goal difference will change too much. And I think then we're talking about March Madness, or we'll be talking about May Madness.
Yeah.
May Madness we'll be talking about, because then it will come down to who scores the goals, and that will be an unbelievable finish to the season.
Can you turn it on and off, though, like a tap for Arsenal, in terms of... You thought maybe they would turn the screw against Newcastle, but it didn't quite happen. You
know what? Newcastle, good team. They've got good players. I know they are where they are in the league, but they have top players still, do you know what I mean? And, you know, they had the lad up front. I thought he scared Arsenal in the first minute with his pace. I know he had a good chance, he hit his foot and he missed it. But I thought that was the warning signs of, well, wait there a minute, we better keep it shut here, because if we start bombing forward, they nick a goal. So I think that bit of pace earned Newcastle respect, where we're not just going to bomb forward and try and win 3 or 4. I think just win the games at the moment, then you get down, especially the last 2. I think it's timings, but got to beat Fulham first, who I say are going for Europe, and if they get into Europe, it'll be an amazing feat.
So we're thinking that, from your predictions, that potentially City drop some points here.
Yeah.
For Arsenal, then, after the Fulham game, it's West Ham away at the London Stadium, which could be the trickiest one of their running.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to play the teams that are under pressure as well, who've got something to play for. You don't want someone to turn up. No disrespect to Bournemouth when they turned up the other week at the Emirates. There wasn't too much pressure on them. You know what I mean? They went out and they played. Now there's pressure on Bournemouth because they've got a chance of getting into Europe, and then the pressure tells. So for me, it's about timings. But yeah, this is a massive game. Again, just got to win it. You know, 1-0, you know, and that's enough for me. I don't think there'll be too much. I think these are the 2 games they've got to worry about. If they can win these 2, then it's how many goals, because I think then it could come down to goals if Man City go perfect.
So, from what we're saying, from Arsenal's point of view, then, are you going for 4 wins out of 4? Yeah,
I am. I think defensively, I don't I look at that and I don't think Fulham are great going forward. I don't think they're, you know, prolific. So I don't see them scoring. West Ham would take a point, in my opinion, against Arsenal. So I think they'll sit back and let Arsenal come at them, and surely they will have enough to break them down by the end. And then Burnley and Crystal Palace could be Europa Conference, I think, final winners by then, couldn't they?
Yeah, I think it's after the... I'm
yeah,
not sure when the date is, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, if they play in that, I think that's before, you know, I dread to think what the score will be there. You know, I mean, and rightly so. They've earned the right. You know, people might go, oh, they rest players, why should they rest players? But they've earned the right to do that.
Yeah. We've touched on this a little bit already, but one of your other former clubs then in Villa, how do you see that going for City?
I think that's their easiest game of the season left. No, I do, and it's down to timings.
Yeah,
it's down to timings. You know, they could be. They already could have cemented their place in the Champions League. You know, I think that's the Europa final as well.
Yeah, it'd be after that game.
Yeah, so
Villa are there, obviously.
Yeah, so for me, I think when you look at it, Villa have already had their season, and I think that, you know, they'll be safe. They'll have done what they had to do, and hopefully they'll win the Europa Conference, the Europa League as well, and get in the top 4 or 5. You know, a lot of teams will be sweating on them coming 5th and winning that, and then they get the 6th place. So for me, I think that's their easiest game. Because of timings, it would be their easiest game when it could have been their hardest.
Agree with what Mercer's saying there.
In a way,
who follows,
yeah, absolutely.
Sort of Villa week in, week out.
That's the, you know, Villa haven't looking ahead to this game on Thursday. I mean, Villa haven't done particularly well in the last few years on games that really matter. When you think of the FA Cup semi-final against Palace, and in the Conference League against Olympiacos in the semi-final, they turned in a poor performance really over those 2 legs. So a lot of scrutiny will be on Villa coming into this game because they are absolute favourites in the Europa League. But if they get through to the final, that'll be in the week of that City game. So, you know, Emery's legacy will be defined by trophies. He's got to go and win something. So it could be party time for that game. Yeah,
and I think, and I thought that was a bad result for Villa at the weekend. I thought they could have put it to bed. If they'd have beat Fulham, they'd have gone 11 points clear, which that would have been good night nurse. But now, yeah, they might have to win one more football match. But yeah, that could be party time. That's probably their easiest game, Man City. So
we obviously don't know when these are going to be at the moment, but how do you see Bournemouth and Palace going for City?
Well, Palace will be an absolute give me. An absolute. As I say, they've earned the right, Palace. They've had an amazing season. They could be in the final, and it all depends when that's going to be. But you see against, who was it last week? That Sarr never played. Do you know what I mean? He got rested. Players are getting rested. You know, good players for them. So I don't think they play their best team. The other game for them is Bournemouth. I think Everton and Bournemouth are 2 difficult football matches. Bournemouth could be going for Europe, and it's a hard place to go, Bournemouth. They're a good football team, really good football team.
So do they pick up 3 points against Bournemouth?
No, I think it'll be a draw. I think they'll draw against Everton and Bournemouth, and I think that'll be it. Arsenal will be champions.
Are you saying that with your chest? Come on, are you saying that, you know, that's what you really think?
My heart's saying it, but my head's not really, you know.
OK.
Yeah.
So this is what we're left with then. This is Paul Merson's predictions. You think that City are going to drop points against Everton.
Yeah.
And you also said Bournemouth, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and win the other games comfortably.
So ignore that D. That's going to be against the Bournemouth one, isn't it? But this is how you think it's going to end up then, and with Arsenal as champions.
Yeah.
Be exciting though, won't it?
I mean, what everybody wants, and everybody will want, especially the neutrals, if Arsenal beat Fulham and beat West Ham and then they beat Everton and Brentford, then it's going to go down to goals. It's just unbelievable how tight it's got. It's been amazing. But I personally think if Man City went and won it, I think it will be Pep Guardiola's biggest achievement if they went and won it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because you think they started the season, what, they lose 2 of the first 3?
Yeah. And
well, and I guess 9 points behind at one point.
9 points behind. They could have gone 12 if they'd have beat Bournemouth.
Yeah.
You know, I never give Man City a hope. Not a hope.
But that's bigger than winning Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, they could win the treble. I mean, it's just unbelievable what they do and how he does it. Now, you'd like to think Arteta would have seen a bit of experience of Pep Guardiola, the way, because their team seem to get stronger and stronger. You know, so it'd be interesting. But yeah, I think it would have been his biggest feat.
Well,
if he went and won this league.
You would have given some Arsenal fans hope this evening anyway.